Hey guys, namaste, and I hope all of you are doing great. I'm going to talk to you about the part 2 of the Pitru Tarpanam. Now, this part 2 is not just question and answers or in response to the comments of the first video, but it is more, I would say, it encapsulates the first video, right? The information, but I would like to have more details here. I would like to expound more things here, okay? So it's going to be a little bit spiritual talks. There will be some definition which I'll be giving from the religious texts and all that, but it is imperative to know all that, because knowing so, then when you perform this Pitru Tarpanams, it will be more efficient, and you will feel a sense of satisfaction at the end of the day, because you know what you're doing. Okay, so no particular format. I'm just going to start with maybe I'll start with the journey of the soul. So what actually happens when someone dies? Okay, now of course you can have I'm in no position to do commentary on spiritual topics, but this is more of sharing my knowledge. Okay, so when someone dies, okay, the physical body is called the preta, okay, preta, which is basically useless, right? That is why the Hindus do cremate the body. So what happens after that? Now is to be said that there is a 1 year buffer. Okay, in that year buffer, the soul will be lingering around the loved ones, lingering around the place where it has left the body. Okay, it is not traveled to the astral body. There's another body called the astral body. So in between the astral body and the physical body, astral is basically like a body which it's like a spirit body, okay, but more I would say more matured, or more less humanly, more astral or more spiritual, okay. And between that and the human body is the one in between. Okay, I don't particularly know what's his name, but it lingers between that for the first 1 year. After that year, once it reaches its tidhi, okay, the tidhi is basically the shape of the lunar phase, okay, the phase of the moon. So the day when the physical body or the preta is separated with the spirit body, that day will be recorded, and a year after that, and would not fall, because we're not going to use the solar, but we're going to use the lunar system, so it will not fall on the exact day, but based on the shape of the moon will change. So once it reaches that day, all right, the same day, and then the body, sorry, not the body, but the spirit will move towards its journey, will start to go to its journey. Okay, he will leave. It's like the point of no return. Okay, of course all this you can refer, the Upanishads talks about it, Mundaka Upanishads talks about it, Brihadanyaka talks about it, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks about it, and chapter 8 verse 24, I think I read it like last week. Chapter 8 verse 24, you can read and you can understand in more great details there. Right? Harivamsa, that's another good reference. Harivamsa Purana is one of the 18 Puranas. Harivamsa talks in great details of these journeys that the soul takes. Okay, so before talking about the journeys, I would also like to stress upon the point that the death, of course these are based on Hindu religious understanding. Death is a temporary cessation of the physical body. It's just a temporary cessation. Now, it is the ending of a beginning. Okay, that it is going to another realm of existence. Okay, so it ends the physical body and it begins another life. Another, I wouldn't say life, but another process of its being. okay, because we are all spiritual beings. Okay, as I mentioned on the first video, there are 5 different bodies, 5 different sheaths or coverings, panchakosha. Okay, now it changes, right? It changes all these different layers of body. So the understanding is that when a person dies, we should not cry or weep or feel sad, because technically we don't die. The Atma, if this is Prakash, and this body that you see right now is the physical body, right? But there is a more subtle body, the Shukshma Shariram, right? The subtle body. Of course, you can refer to Panchakosha. It's a good reading material if you're interested with these kind of stuffs. So the subtle body doesn't die. It goes into what we call as the core of it is sort of, it's you cannot destroy it. It doesn't die, and it lives on forever. And it doesn't live, but it's perpetual energy. Let's put it that way. Okay, it's perpetual energy, which is called as Atma or the soul. Okay, that doesn't die. It just moves to another realm of existence. It's just a transcendence. From the physical, it goes to another level. So when a person dies, that form is taken, right? So remember, the first year it will be lingering around. After that, once it reaches its sthiti, and after performing the Shraddha Karya, or even sometimes if you don't perform it, it will go to another level where it will be, there'll be a decision. There will be 3 paths. Okay, the path will be, the first will be the Devayanam. Yanam means, or Yana means journey. Deva means the gods. Okay, the journey of the gods. That's the first one. And the second one would be Pitrayanam or Pitriyanam, which means the journey of the ancestors, which what we'll talk about later. I'll expound more on that later. And the last is the Adhoyanam. Okay, the path of, we can say hell. Okay, but it's called the Padhala Loka. It is the nether world, maybe, right? Or we can loosely we can call it as hell. Okay, so the first will be heaven, maybe the Devaloka, just for the sake of understanding the concepts. Devayanam, where the path of the journey to reach salvation, right? Salvation. And second will be the path to reach the ancestors. And third would be to hell. Okay, Upadhala Loka. Right, so where was I? Yeah, so once it reaches that stage, the soul will be presented. It will be like the lights will be on, it'll be lighted up. So you'll have 3 parts, and only one of the 3s will be lit or lighted up. Okay, so the first is the Devaloka. So if it's lit, which means that Atma has the golden ticket. It has the the red carpet straight to the Lord, to the heavens. Okay, and there's no returning back. Doesn't come back. As I said, you can refer to Bhagavad Gita's chapter 8, verse 24. Okay, Lord Krishna talks about this. So there's that's the best of the best. The one who is privileged to have those are the enlightened souls. Okay, the liberated ones, the one who has removed ego, what we call as ahamkara, totally selfless. There is no more my family, my son, my child, my wife, my father, my community, my world. There's no such thing. It is totally inclusive. No more exclusiveness. It's totally inclusive. Selfless, totally selfless. And those people who perform severe austerities, spiritual practice, religious sadhanas, spiritual practices, makes God as the central in everything, renounce material life, and these are the people who becomes enlightened. And it's not easy. It's not, it's hard for me to say, but most of the so-called godmen or gurus that we see on YouTube or on anywhere out there may not fit right? This particular enlightened souls, quote unquote enlightened soul, it is difficult. One has to be truly in the service of God. It is not easy. Okay, so for those people who live a very sanctified life, I would say, a life full of sanctity, and selfless and only surrender to God, now for them that path will be open and they will not be born again. It's done deal. Okay. Now the second path, if it's lifted, is called the Pitru. The first was the Devayanam. The Pitru is the path to the ancestors. Okay, so now this is you'll be meeting your ancestors. Now by definition, the word ancestor, let me just make that clear. Ancestor means someone who is before your grandparents. Okay, so you have your father, and then you have your father's father, and after that, before that, okay, before them are the ancestors. That's where that path will take. Okay, so I would say 99.99% of us may be, I'm definitely, hopefully, will be on that path, because I'm not sure if I'll be on the liberated souls, the red carpet. I'm pretty sure I won't be, but I'm hoping at least I'll be on the ancestors path, because the third path is scary. Okay, so let's talk about the second one. So you'll be leaving you'll be leaving the plane of existence to the journey. Okay, that journey is called the Pitrayana. Okay, you'll reach to the moon, where you'll meet with other ancestors. Okay, if they are still around, that is. Okay, what do I mean by that? Now, once you reach that path, okay, that path, and if you read the like Haribamsa talks about it, that Pitrayana, what are the things that you will see during the journey on route? What are the things that you experience? Very interesting. So you reach the moon, and there, once your karma. So okay, here's the thing. So the thing that you have done, your karmic transaction, your sanchita karma, your prarabdha karma, whatever karma that you have done, the deeds that you have done, good and bad, will be measured there. All right. So there will be a point where the transaction will be, they will be assessed, will be checked, and then there'll be a judge there, and he will say, okay, yeah, you have done this much of good stuff. So as such, you can stay in this realm of the moon, which is not as bad, which is kind of cool actually. From the scriptures, it says that there's some good stuffs there, where you can be with your ancestors. You can not live, but you can be in a peaceful state. Okay, peaceful state. It may not be bliss like the heavens, but still you'll be in a peaceful state, together with your ancestors. But depending, so if you have like, for the sake of example, let's say you have 5 good karmas and 3 bad karmas, right? So you can stay for 5 periods of time, okay, and so minus 3, so you have only 2. So you live for these 2. And there are some calculations, they call it yojanas and all that, okay, but then you get the idea. You take the good karmas and the bad karmas, you deduct it, and then the balance will be the time you spent there. Now here's the thing, this is where Tarpanam comes. Now remember, this is the astral body already. You have the physical body, the preda, and then you have after the you leave the preda, there'll be a 1 year of buffer. I'm not sure what they call that. That's a type of body in between the astral and the preta and the physical. And then you have the astral, as I said, there will be journey to the moon to meet the ancestors and to just mingle around there, to be in a very happy state, I would say. Peaceful state is the better word to use. And there you realize that you have a time frame. Remember the karmas, you need to add and minus, right? So what happens when you finish? What happens when you run out of the good karmas? Your stay is temporary, so you need to leave. So before talking about where you'd go and things like that, let me tell you the importance of the Tarpanam. Now, Tarpanam gives you the extension. Okay, Tarpanam, which is done by the descendants. Say if I die, then my boys, if they perform the Tarpanam, then I'll have like an extra time there. Okay, so if they do it every year on the day of my TD, if they perform it, then I get extensions and extensions, right? And I'll be there, right? I mean, it's like not fixed, but then as long as they don't forget me, then I'm having a good, I'm pretty satisfied up there, right? So what happens if someone forgets? The obligation is not met. What happens then? And then you will have to leave. Okay, you have to leave, and of course I'm just skimming through. It's just cursory. I'm just this. You can do a lot of readings from the scriptures that I mentioned earlier. When you have to leave, so you leave the moon, you'll go and you become space. From space, you'll become I think air. And from air you'll become water. From water you'll fall to earth in the form of rain, and from rain becomes food, yeah, because nourishment and all that. The food is consumed by the man and woman. Of course, this man and woman are fiery. Okay, the actual potency of men, the semen, and then the womb of the woman, both are fiery components. Together, this synergy creates birth. And again, you were born as the excuse me, as again as Manusha Janmam, as the human form again, and it repeats this vicious circle of death and rebirth. I call it vicious because the idea is to get that, the Deva Yana, to get that one way ticket to bliss, to heaven. Okay, of course, don't quote me here. I know heavens and hell and all these terms are wrong, but just to make sure that I wanted you to really understand, which is why I'm just giving this maybe not so accurate terminologies. Okay, but yeah, so this vicious circle must be broken. So one has to know what we call as true knowledge, what you must learn or what you must perform in order for you to be to live in a sanctified life, to be a liberated soul, and to attain moksha or salvation, right? So that's about that. Now the third one, say if someone dies and the third path has been lit up, okay, adhoyana is the path to padala loka, or hell. The journey itself is arduous, it's perilous, filled with nasty things. All right. Of course, Garuda Purana talks in great details on what one will go through, the pain, the torture they will go through. This is a journey. They haven't reached the Padala Loka or hell yet. The journey itself is arduous, it's very painful. Once you reach there, then of course you'll be tortured based on whatever sins that you have done, serious sins that you have committed. You will be punished severely. And after that period ends, of course nothing is fixed, remember? So you need to move out. Even hell has its time or duration. So once they have really, barbecued you and, skewed you and impaled you and whatnot, fried you in hot oil and whatnot, and they decide, okay, go, I don't want you to be here. And you'll be born, I mean, not you, but I'm just saying collectively, the spirit will be born as a worm, a bug, an insect, or lower life forms. Of course, it'll be then stepped by somebody and the process gets repeated again. The question is, so if you have done sin, then if you have born as the Manusha Janma or the human form, then you have an opportunity to break the vicious circle, right? You can get into liberation. But what if you're born as a worm or a lower life form? There's no way, there's absolutely no avenues. So it's a continuous process of torture and death and torture and death. Okay. What do you call it, as adhoyanam. Okay, adhoyanam. Right, so these are the three journeys it takes. So now I hope you understand it. Very important. It's imperative. If you perform this, then your ancestors gets to live, of course, temporarily, but the temporary can be fixed, right? So performing Tarpanam is important. So now comes the questions. One of the subscriber was asking, can Tarpanam be done if the parents are still alive? Okay, can Tarpanam be done? Answer is yes, but because it's for the ancestors. Remember, it's your grandfather and before. It's for them. It's not for your parents or your grandparents. Tarpanam is not for them. This is to be clearly understood. It's not for them, but it's for the ancestors. So yes, Tarpanam can be done even if your parents are alive, or like myself, my mom has left, passed away. Yeah, my father is around, so I can still do it because it's not for them. If I have a great uncle, yeah, I can do. If I have a great grandfather's needs, yes, I can do. Right now, so remember, you can perform Tarpanam if your parents are alive. It's absolutely fine because it's not within its ambit. It's not beyond. It's beyond its ambit. It's ancestors and above and before. The other question, if I could remember, is the time when you're supposed to do this now. The tithi, as I mentioned, okay, is done yearly basis. If you do it on that particular tithi for that particular person, now this is not necessarily ancestor. Like my case, my mom passed away 18 September last year, 2018. Now October 7th is the tithi, yeah, right? So of course this is different because this is the first year they'll be doing other ceremonial to send her. Remember that 1 year buffer. But the subsequent year, 2020 tithi of her death, that will go to her. So which means that she will be extending her stay in the ancestral realm. Okay, so it's for that person. If you do it on that particular day, if you know the person's death, lunar phase or the tithi, then performing on that particular tithi is very targeted. That's the right way to do. Now, if you want to do like collectively to all your forefathers, okay, like a blanket, right? So that is doing the Pitru Paksham, right? September 15 to October. It's about 1 month, mid-September to mid-October. The Bhadrapada month, for the Tamils they call it the Puratasi Masam, which is going on right now. Okay, so yeah, that is collectively done. Okay, what about only men should be doing? Ladies couldn't do it. It's women shouldn't be doing. It's absolutely wrong. That's again a fallacy. Say if in a family there's only girls, there's no boys. How is that case? Can't they appease their ancestors? Can't they do their obligations? Of course they can. All these are fallacies, humanly set rules and for their own motives and interest. So don't fall for all these things. Yes, women and men can do it, no problems. What else? Any other questions? Yeah, I guess that's about it. So I hope this video has been will be useful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you once again. I know it's a bit long, but I just, because this is very important, this remedy is very, very important, because extending your ancestors' stay in the ancestral loka, Pitru loka, is good for you and your family. The blessing that you receive is very good. The grace and the blessing that you receive will improve your life. Every other things will start to fall into places. Your life will be collectively, every facet of life will start to improve and elevate. You'll be surprised to see how beautifully your life will bloom. Okay, because you are performing your obligations. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Namaste.